plugged in to Acute Mania Live. From Shenton, West Virginia, here's your host, Scott Arnold.
Here I am again. Here I sit. Jim made it. He made it. Hi, Jim.
How you doing?
I was getting worried. Me and Bruno were like, well, maybe we should just start. If he jumps in, he'll be right here. And you came in right at the right time.
Oh well, that's lucky. I logged in a while ago, and all of a sudden, look at the bottom. It says, "Join meeting." Yeah. I'll join the meeting now that it's quarter past 4. Yeah. Thanks
well, welcome, man. It's nice to have you on the show.
Yeah,
nice to meet you, Jim.
Cheers.
Bruno is out in Portland, Oregon, and he's been on the show. Gosh, probably 8 times. I don't know. I don't think you've ever been a guest co-host, though, have you?
I have not. No, this is my first time.
Yeah. So welcome, Bruno.
Hell yeah.
I thought it was fitting having you on with Rat Silo because you're in the West. I'm the only one in the East, so that kind of.
Yeah,
I don't want to say anything weird.
You're in Vancouver, yeah, Jim?
That's right. Yeah.
Oh, how are you liking it over there? How long have you been there, actually?
Well, except I moved to Toronto by mistake for 8 years, but essentially I've been here since 1980.
Oh, damn! It's been a minute.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've seen it go through a lot of changes.
Well, the city has changed a lot. I imagine. I don't know. I don't know. I back in the day, I was in Oregon in about '89.
Okay.
I was still there. A place called the Satyricon. The Satyricon.
What is that actually?
The Satyricon.
Satyricon
called in Portland. Yeah.
Oh, I'm not too familiar.
Oh. It was a standard stop, but I mean, again, I'm talking like
But probably before Bruno's time.
Yeah,
probably before he was born.
Oh yeah, definitely before I was born. I looked it up, and it looks like it's no longer here, but it was in downtown Portland.
Yeah,
over on Northwest 5th and Cooch. Interesting.
Yeah. Pretty dodgy neighborhood.
Yeah, it's still that way.
Yeah, I remember when we pulled up there, we weren't exactly sure where we should be because in the old days you had to have the big truckers atlas. Okay, so take I-95, blah, blah. Anyway, we're in Portland. None of us have been there before. And we're like, well, we think this is the place. And strangely, I don't know if somebody had gone out and given everybody big portions of free Kentucky Fried Chicken, but there was chicken bones and stuff all down the street, all the remnants of chicken carcasses all over the place.
What the
and
hell?
Then we find this nightclub. Well, we find these doors, and it looks, a little bit like the gates to hell. It's this black door that's about 10 foot high, 15 foot wide, and enormous chains on it, and the biggest chain with the biggest padlock you've ever seen in your life, and no writing anywhere. And it's yeah, I guess this is the place. Yeah, and sure enough, it was the place.
It sounds badass. So you got in? Did you have to go through the chains?
No, I don't remember much about it. It was a very strange gig. There was a band from Alaska playing. They were touring. It was holy shit. We thought we'd come a long way, all the way from Vancouver, which it's what is that, 1,000 miles or something. But these poor bastards, they drove down from Alaska.
Well, I was looking like I usually do on the Sody Records roster, just to see if there's any new, anybody new, and I think I'd seen Rat Silo on there before, but I think I was just glancing at something for another artist. But they've been sending me artists, to interview, which is great, and Metal Inc. has also. And I remember Rat Silo on there, and I was like, I've got to listen to this just because of the name, It's like one of those, don't judge a book by its cover, but you have to because the name is, it's unique. So the very first song I listened to was Never Walk Home Alone. And I was like, yes, I need to talk to these folks and see what's going on with his name. I need to know everything. And I think I got a hold of Josh this was a few months ago. I got a hold of Josh, and I think you guys were writing or something. And I got busy. And anyway, so I got a hold of Josh again. I was like, maybe tap Rat Silo on the shoulder and see if I can get, interviewed. And here we are. So that's the story of how I kind of found you. But so they kind of gave me, they've been giving me people to interview. Where did the name come from, and what is it? Does it mean anything at all?
It means absolutely nothing.
I didn't think so.
Again, back in the day, for a little while, at least in Canada, there was about 6 different nightclubs in different cities. Some coffee shops, some jazz bars, but it seemed like in every single city there was a club soda, and then there was a this, and you go and play someplace, and it's like, yeah, we got this band, the Doughboys, opening for you. Well, no, the Bus Boys. It's like we played with them like last Tuesday in Edmonton. No, they're a local band. It's like, it was weird. It was like, not the Dead Boys, but it was just like so many people had the same name, right? Like the English Beat. In England, it's just the Beat. When they came out, I'm sure they didn't even know there was an American band, some kind of top 40 pop band called The Beat. So they had to be called the English Beat here. Squeeze UK, they had to be called that because there was already a Squeeze here, but Squeeze were huge in Britain. But so anyway, back in the day, the original idea, what I wanted to do, and it was kind of premature, but I guess you guys know what stems are with audio recording.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, well, not everyone does, so I'm assuming Joe Public doesn't. But when you go to the recording studio, or if you have stuff at home, you've got maybe 20 tracks, 8 tracks of drums. I'm talking about music. So even if you're doing EDM or whatever, you've got lots of different channels, and then you mix it all. You decide how much of each of them you've got. So if you want to be super friendly and nice, you can give somebody else all your stuff.
Yeah, that's what I do.
For instance, Moby and 9 Inch Nails, they're the only ones that I've actually bothered to go and grab stuff, but they've got their stems up there. So you can be like, okay, so I'm going to do my own custom remix of the 9 Inch Nails song. Screw you, Trent Reznor. You don't know what effects and everything that he's got up there, but you can grab his stuff. So anyway, in the early days, I thought of this idea. If we have 10 people, there's a classical guy, there's a folk guy, there's an electronic guy, there's a punk guy, there's a metal guy. All of us, 10 of us, all send each other our stems. And then if everybody interprets everybody else's stuff, you've got 90 pieces of music, right? I thought that would be interesting. Anyway, I did it with one guy, and he was the guy that I was in the band before, Sons of Freedom. Mm-hmm. And I think we traded like one file, and I don't even think we added it. The idea was to like kind of have it on Dropbox or something, and you grab stuff like. Do you guys know? Have you heard of a band called Julian K?
Yes, I've seen them.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Very good. Yeah,
our buddy Anthony Volchek, Foo. He mixed the last. Well, actually, all the last 4 Rat Starter records. He's in that band. He used to play live with them. He doesn't anymore. But they do all their collaboration essentially live in some kind of Zoom thing. And they've all got, their Ableton and their Pro Tools and Logic and all this kind of stuff. And they're jamming live with all this gear. And it's like, when MIDI when MIDI first came out, we got this guy in France and, like a big convention and, Herbie Hancock's here from LA, and they hook it all up. And it's like,
that's crazy.
And that was like MIDI. Whereas now we're actually talking about audio, right? So it's a lot more data, but it works now. So anyways, we had to have a name for a project. So I sat down and brainstormed. So, I'll be goddamned if I'm going to steal a name from somebody else. So I just basically pulled it out of my ass. And this is like, 30 years ago. The band was first, this version of, well, not this version of the band, but the original version of Rat Cider was formed in 2007.
Right. Yeah. From the bio. Yeah.
And three of us in this band were in that version. Yeah.
But everybody is from different or from other bands, right? Like they were previously, or maybe now.
Well, yeah, we've all played with lots of people.
Yeah.
For sure.
The bass player I was in a band with in the 80s, Sons of Freedom. That was kind of, how that's our big taste, the biggest taste of kind of fame and infamy that I've ever had. But that was together from 86 to 93 when I quit. And the bass player, he carried on. He played with Lee Aaron, who you probably don't know. You may have heard of Econoline Crush.
For
that band. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you may
also
have
played with Art Bergmann, no?
That's right. Yeah. Or a few times. And he actually went on the road with Art Bergmann. I don't know how many Canadian people you know. And Bif Naked, you may have heard of her.
Mm-mm.
I've heard. Yeah.
Oh, I thought that was Sean Stubbs that played with
Stubbs,
or were they in the same band?
Yeah, I'm kind of name drop different people. And
okay,
SNFU,
gotcha.
you probably know.
SNFU, yeah.
Yeah, he played drums with them for a while. Yeah.
Yeah, there's several. So, like I'm just looking at your bio. There's several names.
Yeah,
several that I don't know.
of course.
No, well, not several. A few.
I was saying you guys have a Wikipedia. That's impressive. It's notoriously
Really?
hard to get one going.
Is it?
What for Rat Silo?
Yeah, I believe so.
That's because it's a unique name. I mean, people want to
Yeah,
know.
Rat Silo
What the heck is it?
on Wikipedia.
That's awesome. So, well, I was just looking up
I
Sons
looked
of
into
Freedom.
that once, and it's pretty hostile. You know, it's kind of like, I think, for like academic journalists, like this is the font and the spacing you will use for this, and this is for that. I'm just like, screw it. If I can't just put it up as text and let you say I'm out, you know. But you know, they don't want goofs doing it. But there's a lot of places, like I can imagine, you know, for somebody controversial or interesting, like say, you know, Jon Stewart, Donald Trump. People are trying to edit the bejesus out of their things, right? And that's not what Wikipedia is all about. It's not meant to be a, you know, it's not meant to be a, you know, a chat group, right?
They constantly ask me for money when I get on there, Lou.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Well, they do need money, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a big old computer they got there to store all that incredibly important information.
It's very interesting though. If you need to know something, you know, and there's no AI handy, you know.
Yeah, that's right.
Do you use AI for anything? Have you gotten into that?
No.
How come?
Oh, thank God.
Well, one thing I'm too lazy to learn how to do it, which is, you know, I would say counterintuitive, because, you know, the whole point of AI is you just wake up in the morning and it's like, hey, Chat GPT, can you write me a symphony about motorbikes? Okay, got it. You know what I mean? It should be really easy, but the older I get, the less I'm interested in learning any new software, because I've had to learn lots.
Well, see, the thing is, it learns from you, so you have to teach it.
Well, I went to school as an adult, and I did one course. It was called machine learning then. It was 20 years ago. And that's basically how machines figure out and make the decisions. But you have to give them these massive data sets. And this is the big thing that people have been complaining about. They're realizing that writers and musicians, it's like, you used my data without my permission. You didn't pay for it. You've taken my film script or my book or my song and added to your billion other things so we can figure out how it works. Having said that, there was a guy that I worked with. He played me a recording, and it was a little like a kind of a birthday wedding present gift, anniversary gift from his wife. They'd had a kid about 6 months earlier, and he comes home from work, and she's like, "Hey, husband, tell me what you think of this song." And the song comes along, and it's kind of a middle of the road, kind of harmless. It trucks along, and then there's these lyrics, and then all of a sudden, it's like blah, 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 blah. That time under the sun when we were at Table Mountain, and then we went to Jeff's house and had cheeseburgers, and he's just like, "The fuck is this? That's me. You're talking. It's about me." And what it is some kind of service. For the sake of argument, she spent $100, sent it off. They got a machine, you know, an AI program. You give them the lyrics, and it should scan in some capacity so that it can be made into a song. They force feed it into this thing. It sings a song. It sounded like a woman, right? And it sounded kind of a little bit kind of easy listening, but kind of like not too shabby kind of pop, you know, like something that like somebody who's pretty good could have done on their laptop in the basement of their house. Like, I was amazed.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's a friend of mine. It's his ex-girlfriend's boyfriend now, or something like that. But he makes and distributes music, and he doesn't do anything but tell the AI what to write about and what the music should sound like and everything. But it's pretty good music. Like, I mean, I would never like buy it, but like, it's the AI made everything. He's just saying, you know, write about this and in the style of this, and a few other things. You know, if it gets something wrong, he'll fix it. But he pays for this program. I don't know what I can't remember what he said it was, but he pays for it. And he releases music under I can't remember what the name is, but like he made up, you know, a group name and releases it under that, like it's an actual band, and it sounds like an actual band. It's just not. It's nothing. You know, it's just a computer. But
you guys have heard about that? Is it Velvet Sunset or something? The band on Spotify. It's an AI band.
Oh, really?
Haven't heard about that?
I'm actually not shocked that there's not more of that.
There's a million,
there's a lot of
million followers.
Wow.
I think what blew it is that somebody got looking at the biopic, and it's like, that's an AI photo. So, and it's like, here's the band name. So they did Google searches and all the guys. It's like, interesting that I can't find anything else that any of these people have been in. And then the thing that was interesting was it was actually a Canadian who pretended, I think he pretended that he was an AI bot and got in touch and posted something. And he wound up doing an interview for Rolling Stone magazine. This is maybe about 2 months ago.
Yeah.
And then when that was all done, he came clean and said, I've got nothing to do with this band. So, so basically he was conning.
What a waste of time, though. I mean, my goodness.
Yeah.
Like,
well, no, there's people exposing it. But what I don't like is there's a huge amount of music out there that I don't like, partly because I'm an old bastard and I've been listening to music, actively for, decades and decades. Almost all music sounds identical to me. Even when you walk down the path of, say, like, okay, let's hear what the new metal is like. It's like, sounds just like the old metal, or everyone's pulling exactly the same trick. Everyone in this dog is in a band. Everyone's making music, like all EDM, all dance, everything. It's like it takes something interesting, really, for my ears to jump. But there's a Jelly Roll song I heard maybe about a month ago, and I was shocked. I'm like, excellent singing. Excellent. Same with Adele. I thought it was crap. And then I think there was like maybe 2 songs one time I was just like, that is really good. She is a really good singer, and it's a well-written song.
Yeah.
Weird.
It seems like, like I know what you're talking about with the people sounding the same. And when I interview bands on here, a lot of them sound the same, but it seems like, more and more, and it's happened more and more often too. I'll get bands that when I originally listened to them, like for the very first time. This didn't happen with Rat Silo, by the way. I don't know what even genre Rat Silo is, but it's in the badass genre. It's over there with those. But no, you hear like a metalcore band, and metalcore is a huge genre now. When before it really wasn't. When it first was called metalcore, but like when I have bands on, like and I'm actually really listening with cans on, to their music. It's more and more often it's starting to sound different than all the same metalcore. Like there's something that they're adding or something they're taking away, something they're not doing as often as maybe all the other bands are. Like I'm starting to see that, and it's been probably a couple years now that I've started to see it kind of evolve into something else. So now they got all these subgenres of metalcore. Like it used to be just rock and roll, and then there's and metal, and then the subgenres of metal. Now it was what we have. Now we have all the cores. We got mallcore and core this, core that. Who cares what genre you're in? If it's good, it's good. Yeah. Like Bruno is the lead singer of To Bloom in Portland, and I don't know what you guys would be under genre-wise. It's some kind of prog rock with Bruno singing.
Yeah, we identify as prog rock. Just that keeps stuff open-ended. But I did want to say, Jim, that you guys have a very incredibly unique sound. You've got like this industrial feeling going with like King Gizzard, a little bit of Queens of the Stone Age. Like, how did you end up developing your sound?
Well, I think a lot of it is probably, I can't take credit for a lot of it, but I have a very strong tendency towards certain kinds of chords and certain kinds of melodies. The old band Sons of Freedom was with the bass player, and it's possible, like with some of the Rat Silo stuff that we've been doing, it's not a million miles away from that old band, because 2 out of 4 people are in this band. So I don't think that, like when the band first started off, originally I thought it was going to be kind of like a marching band. I figured we were like, get somebody on an accordion, or one of those Indian push me pull you kind of keyboard things, and somebody on just some kind of mobile stuff, so we walking down the street busting
like a guitar.
Not well. I wasn't really thinking. I was thinking a bit more acoustic, So one of the, like a lot of the guys like Los Lobos and stuff like that. They love those acoustic bass guitars, right? And, what am I thinking? A mariachi band.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
that kind of stuff. But, so it was quite bluesy, and we had this guitar player, Finn Manniche, who was, he is a stunning guitar player, and Dave Osbourne on keyboards. So it was very kind of bluesy, and then it started to become more kind of rock and a bit more nasty here and there, and then that fell apart. And then Sons of Freedom, the old band, had a reunion gig, and we played, we jammed, and we worked on material for about a year and a half, and then that fell apart. And then I figured, what the hell, I'll do something else. But by that time, Rat Salad had already made 3 records, and all 3 of them are, there's a definite progression, as you can kind of tell with the songwriting, the kind of style, things kind of got nastier and grubbier and more menacing and stuff like that.
Edgy, I think.
Edgy. Okay, that's the word to use today. Okay. And then we got Erkan. And Erkan's Turkish. I met him through a friend. And I first was interested in him because, he's a good guy and everything, but he's a percussionist. And he plays the dumbek, if you know what that is, the tall, thin drum from Turkey and stuff like that. For the sake of argument to people who don't know much about it, it almost sounds like a tabla, but there's only one of them. But they play it very quickly. I
think I know what you're talking about.
Anyway, that's the kind of drum he played. And then so we brought him in as that. And, it started going like that, and we started working on material. And then Erkan got into Ableton software. And since he's been doing that, we haven't even thought about using the dumbek anymore. And,
No.
Well, it's
probably one on there.
He adds like all of the weird sounds, the kind of random voodoo industrial craziness he brings in.
Yeah, that's great. I like that.
He flat out refuses to play keyboards, because I'll be like, look, we can get a synth, and all you got to do is I'll show you the chords. You just have to go bang, ding, 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 or something, or do, blee, blue, and he's just.
But he likes noise. He just wants to give you noise, right?
He just refuses to do it. He will not do it. It's like, come on, man. Anybody could start, From what I understand, the woman in New Order, like she didn't know anything when that band first started after Ian Curtis's death. Like, I think it's the drummer's wife. They brought her in because they needed somebody, and it was just like, put your finger, but the other white one, that one, hold it there when we get to that. Yep, you got it. And now look at it.
Hey, what do you say we listen to I'm a Believer?
Okay,
we'll get everybody to believe in Rat Silo if they haven't heard them. Yeah. I don't know if that's what it's about. But there's a few people in the chat I want to shout out before we continue, and they all know you, Jim. Donna Mayer says hello, Jim.
Oh yeah.
And Eat Meal says, sorry I'm late, lads. Rat Silo kicks every ass. Every ass. Not just accurate. One ass, all of them, right?
Oh, okay. So that's on the YouTube stream because I don't see that because I'm on the Zoom, right?
Yes, that is,
right.
Yes.
Right.
And Eat Meal also says, yes, the track slaps hard.
Yeah, cool.
What is do you want to say what I'm a Believer is about? Is it about believing or?
Well, no, it's a very specific thing, and I think if you look at the little graphic on the Spotify thing, you can see exactly who it is that I'm picking on. We got a great video made by a friend of ours called Fiona Bowie. Basically, the song is flat out mocking the kind of what I would say is the mindless the mindless government worship that's going on in the States right now. In Canada, like, we're not immune to this stuff, but I thought Trump first time around was pretty bad, and I kind of said to the guys, well, geez, like, I don't know if I want to get into politics too much. You're from North Virginia, right, or South Virginia?
West Virginia, yes.
Virginia, right, or South Virginia. I don't know what color your state is and stuff like that, but it's actually a very political song. It's and especially when you look at the video, there's no doubt what's going on. The video is, we are just doing everything we can to humiliate and point out how absolutely vile the Proud Boys are. Like, make no mistake, like, we are picking a fight here, and that's exactly what this song is. So I am singing in the voice, the singer's persona is singing in the voice of this mindless follower who is not interested in absolutely anything at all that jeopardizes his beliefs that he's accepted his whole life, and just doesn't want to think about anything at all because he's right, because it makes his life easier. So it's a very negative song. It is very vicious, but we think we did a pretty good job with it.
Sure. All right, here's I'm a Believer by Rat Silo.
It's all about me. I wanna be, I wanna be, I wanna be. I'm looking for a life and I'm looking for a reason. I'm a believer, I'm a believer. If you don't step in line, it's a
Excellent.
Bruno, I'll give you the chance to tell him what you think about that song.
Oh, that was excellent. Yeah, that was very just like very punk rock. It was I liked the lyrics a lot too. I actually wanted to ask, do you write the lyrics or music first?
Good question.
The lyrics are one of the very, very last things to get done.
Gotcha. So you're writing the vocal melodies on top of the instrumentation
pretty much,
then?
the way we work has actually been the way that I guess it's the way that I work. We get ourselves into a friendly altered state. Well, actually, no, I can say that because dope's probably legal in where you are. Is cannabis legal in
Sure.
Absolutely. Oh, over
Okay.
there. Yeah, it's
it was a
legal
big
in
deal when it
Oregon.
was legal in Washington.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you might smoke a bit, maybe have a drink, but pretty much everything comes from a jam, and
Sick.
yeah. So we go along, and sometimes I don't have any decent melody ideas, and we just have to let the sucker sit, and it sometimes takes a very long time. We may have a germ of an idea. It was like, blah, 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 okay, whatever the hell is that. And we got the chords, and then we'll pick this up. And I'll have I just scat the vocals. I'm just like blah, 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 just making up words. But as I'm doing it, I can tell because I'm pretty good at getting the right syllable, the emphasis, emphasis on the syllable. I'm pretty good at figuring out where the hard and soft words and what should hold long and when it should cut off short for like maximum effect because that's what makes a good song. So anyway, I'll have that kind of stuff. But then it may be like we've had some before. I think it was from the first record that we did with Aircan. There's a song called Get High and Quit, which is basically, it's about personal heavy drug abuse or self-abuse. I think that was on the back burner for about a year and a half. On any given time, we may have like 10 or 15 songs that are just kind of floating around waiting to get finished.
Can I interrupt you for a second? What's really weird is the I'm a Believer poster that was behind you just fell off the wall.
Oh, he's not happy.
That was creepy. Did you see that, Bruno?
I did, yeah.
It was right
What
above the
hell?
Can't Trust a Man one, and it just slowly peeled itself off the wall. That was creepy.
I'm going to fix that.
I think your house is haunted.
Speaking
Something's
of,
on.
how's your doll doing?
I've got the Proud Boys at the door now. That's my
he's no
that's my
longer-
AI signal. I'm about to
Yeah,
get my
that's true.
ass kicked.
Did you do all those drawings?
Yeah.
That's
awesome.
excellent.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's very creative. Yeah, it peeled right off the wall as he was talking about it. That was weird.
This is very, very, very cool artwork. I'm looking at your discography on Spotify, and this is very.
It's interesting to look at.
It's interesting for sure, but
It's
it's also
frameable,
really,
is what it is. It's frameable stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that was that was creepy. How that happened. Chad said it's a ghost.
Yeah.
That was
funny,
a little bit weird, but yeah, we can continue, I guess, if it's okay with the poster.
When we did the first record with Aircan, it kind of came out in the middle of COVID, and we were wondering, like, well, what are we going to do? We can't go and get a gig. We can't do nothing. We said, screw it, put it out anyways. But I had, a fair amount of time on my hand because I wasn't working much. So I did these kind of things as kind of posters for all the songs. And then I kept doing it. And then all of a sudden, once we started putting things on Spotify, well, you need an image of some kind.
Mhm.
And I've seen stuff with, all the other bands on Spotify that are kind of like us, like not that many listeners, not that many. And I'm looking at it, it's like, you didn't pay a guy with airbrush to do that. That's an AI thing. It'll be like some, huge guy with a tank behind him, and he's yelling at somebody, and he's, got a big sword, and his hair is perfect, and it's thunderbolts behind him or something. It's like, that takes a long time for an airbrush guy to do.
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
At a
Absolutely.
fair or something. I was
The
thinking
big
like
thing I would
Expensive too.
we're talking about creative stuff. One of the things that's very important to us is to leave a fair amount of rough edges. Like when we go in the studio, we work very quickly. Typically, all of the CDs that we've done, well, this is the fourth one we've done now with this bunch. It's basically one weekend. We'll get in on the Friday night, track all day Saturday. Sunday is all of the overdubs, and we're out.
Wow.
And back in the day in the old band, I would have a day per track for vocals. So it's like, you got 8 songs, it's going to take 8 days. It's like, no, shut up. Shut your fucking mouth. You got
It
an
sounds
hour
like
and 20
overkill, really. You know.
Well, no, I mean,
also
we're going for absolute perfection. I'm like
for
true
sure.
perfection. You know, we get the beds done very, very good, and the vocals, I do them all in about an hour and a half. That's it.
Yeah.
Don't have
Excellent.
time. Don't
Yeah,
have
there's
time.
just no time for that.
Instrumentation wise, oh sorry, go ahead.
Well, it's just a big thing for us is, especially with the art, just to personify the whole thing is, it's very important to me, and I think all of us, so that anybody who listens to this is like, there is absolutely no doubt in your mind that grown men are making this music, right?
That's right.
There's no machines. Yes,
No computers.
We kind of are in a way, because we've got a click track, right? There's
Well,
to the
yeah.
computer,
Okay.
because all of Aircan's little schludly, all the goofy things, it's in time with the music.
Right.
And our
That's
drummer
excellent.
has to have a click and have that kind of all of the crazy gloop noise coming so he can play in time with it. Whereas, I'm the singer, guitar player, the bass player. He's kind of tuned out. He needs to hear the drums, but he could give a shit about the click. And for the most part, like, as long as I think that what Aircan's doing with his crazy far out noises, we can worry about which noise is higher or lower later on. It's just as long as it works.
Sure.
Right. Yeah. I have a Moog D fan that I use in our band. I'm the vocalist in our band, and they always want me to turn it down, take it off their monitors and everything. They don't want to hear it.
Right.
Because it's not in sync. It's a Moog D fan. It's a
drummer from a different mother.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I have one of those. But I used to have a bunch of Volcas, Korg vocals to go with it. And I had them all synced together, and I made music like that. All that stuff's on SoundCloud, and I don't remember my password. So,
so it's lost into the ether.
but it's still there. I assume it's just not.
Oh, for sure.
I don't access it anymore. But yeah, that was fun. But yeah, everything was synced together. And, with the band stuff, we have a drummer, and so there's not really any way to sync that unless drummer has, he can hear the clicks and everything. But we don't really need to do. I just do it for accents. I don't really do it to sync up with a beat. It's just an accent part. So, yeah. What were you going to say, Bruno? Go ahead.
I was going to ask. So, instrumentation wise, are you playing like live recordings, or are you recording piece by piece? How do you approach that?
It all goes down live.
Oh, excellent. So just the
edge.
drummer has the click, if I'm understanding right. Drummer has click, everyone's playing around to the drums?
Yeah.
Excellent.
And the keyboard guys, basically, what we have to do is before each record, basically the computer, Aircan, is in charge of everything. It's like, everybody ready? Okay, he presses play. The drummer is sent a 2-bar click exclusively to him, and in the next 2 bars, he's counting in 2 bars for us, and then the song starts.
Okay, nice.
And that's basically how the whole thing works. We did a goofy thing where it got a bit tricky, seeing as we're talking about recording tricks and shit like that. Have you guys heard about, there's a really cool way to get analog tape sound without actually using analog tape? Have you guys heard about that?
I haven't seen it. You might have.
The read and write heads of a 24-track machine. Have you heard about that trick? There's a few places in town that have been doing it. It's incredibly smart. The reason why us old school musicians love 24-track tape instead of just going straight into Pro Tools is because you've got what's called tape saturation. When you when you record very hot or not too hot, so you get distortion, but everybody found out back in the day, like let's say for example Led Zeppelin, perfectly obviously they had good mics, they're good players, they're in good rooms, they experiment a lot.
They have a lot of money.
Well, I mean, they knew what they were doing.
Yeah, that too.
I mean, I read a thing recently talking about Bohemian Rhapsody. It was done on an 8-track. Okay, do you know what ping pong is back in the day? Ping pong? No. If you didn't have many tracks, say you've got, you've only got 8 tracks, and you're like, okay, we got drums taking up 4, and we got 2 guitars, bass, and vocals, and we want to add more stuff. Screw it. So they would mix the drums down to 2 tracks on a different machine, and then they would take that, and then they would use that, because they couldn't use separate machines. They couldn't hook up 8. So anyway, each time you do that, there's a thing called signal to noise ratio with analog tape. You got to make sure the signal's pretty hot. Otherwise, when you turn it up, you start to hear too much tape hiss, which we've all forgotten about. But that was a really big deal. It's been there. In that Bohemian Rhapsody, there's 20 generations of ping pongs. There was so many vocals. So they got the stuff, mix it all down, boom. But every time you do that, you're committed. It's not like nowadays where, I've got a folder with the safety version that we did in January. I'll just bring it up and do that again. No, man, you've committed. The Beatles were doing it too. But I think for them, I don't even know if they had 8 tracks. I think they had 4, which is amazing when you listen to their music.
Do you guys still you guys do vinyls at all, or physical copies of your stuff, or is that kind of? I haven't really asked a band that in a while, but is that still a thing to do physical copies of music?
We do CDs, and the sales are pretty much a joke. It goes through Bandcamp. I don't understand the recent infatuation with vinyl. Like, vinyl was great back in the day, but I see bands and they'll record in a buddy's basement, into his laptop using who cares mics, not a very good interface. They'll go to another guy's house and he's going to mix it digitally, so everything's digital. He's going to mix it and they're trying to say everything's vinyl, and everyone's like, "Oh man, it sounds awesome on vinyl." It's like, no, it doesn't. Actually, you're an idiot. It doesn't.
It is like, I mean, I grew up in the '80s. I was born in '80s. So I my parents had a record player, and we listened to all kinds of stuff on the Beach Boys and just whatever they had. And when I first started on the show, I think it was like 2022, a band from New York I had on called Maintenance, and they decided to go to Least of All Studios, which is in New York City, and you track, you play everything live onto, somebody will order I ordered a song, and then they played it and performed it right there. And went right to that vinyl, and I got that vinyl. But I didn't have a record player at all, so I had to go buy one of those Crosley suitcase ones, and I still have it, and that's the only thing I have it for was to listen to that vinyl. I don't have anything else. Well, I do have one more thing but it doesn't. You're right. It doesn't. It sounds like shit. And
it's for the novelty.
Their band doesn't. Their band is great. I'm friends with all those guys, but like, it's not that their band. It's the quality is so. You have to be really. What is it? You have to really respect that. There's people that listen to records all day long. They just collect them, and that's how they listen to their music. I can't do that. I got it now that we have these things and computers. That's where I hear it. I can't.
It's portable.
I'm not. I won't go buy a vinyl. They're pretty. Some of those vinyls are really pretty looking. Like the way they design them and artwork and stuff. But
I was gonna say, I think. The reason that they purchase them now, I feel like, is for the novelty of it. It's like getting a poster, except it carries a sonic weight too,
full of stuff.
Yeah, with the liner notes and the lyrics and stuff. So I think more so now it's for the novelty of it. Although I feel like people are craving more and more the intimacy of listening to a record from front to back and like really getting to know it.
Right.
Like especially like the first CD I ever bought, Green Day Dookie.
Yeah.
I remember I was
I think
so
that was
excited.
my first too. Yeah.
Damn.
It sounded great. It sounded fantastic, on a CD. I had it on a Discman. I had to buy
exactly.
I think I borrowed a buddy's Discman. I bought the CD before I even had anything to play it on.
Yeah.
But I don't even have a CD player. I don't have a CD player in my vehicle. I don't even have one on my Mac. I don't have
it's all
anything
Bluetooth
to
now.
play. Yeah, everything. Yeah, I don't have anything to play a CD on anymore. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's really weird.
I've needed a USB CD drive for a long time. It's just external.
I do have a burner, like a burner I can hook up into my Mac to burn a CD onto my Mac. But it's just strange to use. But I used to do that all the time. That was when Napster was around, and what LimeWire and all that stuff.
Oh yeah, LimeWire. Just downloading a virus.
Did you have a MySpace, Bruno?
I did. I sure did. Did you guys have a MySpace, Jim, back in 2007?
Yeah.
Jim was my only friend. Wasn't that his name, Jim? Or no? The guy that
guy that ran it.
I thought it was Steve.
Tom was his name.
Tom. That's right. Yeah, it was Tom. Yeah, everybody was friends.
On MySpace was Tom. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like looking behind you, like, "Huh? Hi."
Anyway. Hey, Bowie FB says hello, Jim, in the chat.
Oh.
A lot of
that's the woman that's made our last videos. Fiona.
Oh, nice.
Oh, excellent.
Nice. Yeah. I checked out something you were doing. It might have been on Instagram. Something you guys were playing live. I think that's what I don't know. I'd have to.
Speaking of, I was actually gonna ask. So, how do you guys approach your live shows versus the studio recordings? Like, how much do they differ? How do you execute the live performances versus how you do it in the studio?
Because of the amount of stuff that Ekan's programmed into his stuff, we essentially do it exactly the same. Now,
that's awesome.
Yeah,
so
we have to.
The same performance.
Yeah, well, we have to. We can't improvise because all of a sudden it's like, dude, I got to bar 67 and then everything stopped. Like, somebody fucked up, and it's like, yes, I did. I forgot. I forgot the last 2 lines of the 3rd verse, and I got to that last chorus early. And then sometimes he'll realize it as we're going along. It's like, you guys are wrong. Wrong, and he has to try and, it's not fun for him, right?
Yeah.
How do you guys do, Bruno? Do you guys have it like that too? When you guys play live?
Well, when we play live, we don't do it to a click. So I was gonna ask actually if you guys play to a click
we have
with the drums.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, we don't play with the click.
Yeah. There is an interesting thing that we used for quite a while. It was a third-party program, and now it's actually part of Ableton. We always called it, Beat Seeker was the name of the program. So we used to call it either Pete Seeger or Bob Seeger or something stupid like that. The bottom line is you put a microphone in the room, and by some kind of AI analysis of the beats that are going into the microphone, that thing tells the computer what your tempo is. But there's hardly anything that you can change, because you guys are both musicians. I'm imagining many people listening are musicians. So we're trucking along at 110 beats a minute. And if something happens, like maybe somebody in the bar drops a drink, or you go too close to the mic and it gets confused, the software just goes like, okay, got it, 250 beats a minute. Yeah, like, what the fuck are you doing? No.
That's going to be a disaster.
Always keep within 5% of what I'm telling you it is, because I don't think, But what was fun was that we could be in sync, because naturally, if you've ever sat down and listened to any music at all, like say, put a Beatles or Led Zeppelin or anything, they didn't use clicks, and they went with it. And a lot of bands, they do it a lot, but you basically, when you get to the break and it's like, oh, we're going to halftime, they go a little bit slower. But
right, and tracks it.
Chorus, it's kind of like, oh yeah, we're picking it up. Anyway, this software would follow that. So Sean could just go like, we're going a bit faster here. He wasn't even thinking about it, because we have a tendency. So the rock musicians would be like speeding up and slowing down and cruising, all this kind of stuff. And the software would go along with us. But every so often it would just lose it and just go mental. There was one time at a gig, I think the song, it's a pretty punchy song, but it's for the sake of argument, I can say it's 105 beats a minute. But the default, as with Pro Tools or just about anything, is like, what's the tempo? It always pops up at 120. Anyway, it can set everything. Okay, counts out the song and we get going. It's like, motherfucker workout. Playing that song at 120 as opposed to 105. A pretty good punchy punk song at the level of what we were doing. It was like, we must make sure that never, ever, ever happens again. So this Beat Seeker thing was pretty useful, but it only worked in 4/4.
Man, that limits you then. Yeah,
you couldn't have done 3/4, and maybe 5/4 would have worked. But I mean, pretty rare thing that we would ever do. But I mean, 12/8, I'm pretty sure it would have just lost it. It wouldn't have worked.
Sure, too. Yeah, that's that.
But it was fun to play with. But we used it live.
Wow.
So we would be on stage, in some kind of place where there's like one mic for the drum, like near the snare, one on the kick, that's the drums, guitar and bass aren't mic'd, one mic for the voice. That's it. That's all we got. Everything else is just our stage sound. But we would have to bring our own mic stand and a mic and put it on this thing to be able to talk to the computer and say, like, here's where we're going. And we talked to our pal, Anthony Valchik, who did the mixing stuff. He's the guy that was in Julian K. And we were going like, so we got this software, this hardware thing. Do you think Julian K would ever use that on stage, so that they could just cruise to that? And he's just like, absolutely fucking hell no.
No.
Nobody would take that risk. There's no
Julian K was, they toured with Powerman 5000, and I had... Dan Skiz, he's the guitarist for Powerman. I had him on the 250th show, so this is show 351. So it was last year. But they came through Pittsburgh, and I went up and to hang out with Dan and stuff, and Julian K was on tour with him, so I got to meet them up there. So they were really nice guys too to talk to.
Yeah. I gotta head out here pretty soon.
That's right. Actually, you gotta leave early. Yeah. But you got music and band stuff to do, so that's a good thing to have to go for.
Absolutely. I got one last question for you, Jim. What's been your wildest or most memorable live show experience?
Like good or bad?
Either one, honestly.
Both.
I've been on stage before where I wished I was dead.
Oh shit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Should we elaborate on that?
I really actively wish I don't deserve to be here. I hate it. The audience hates us. I'm having such a shitty time. I just want the earth to open up and swallow me. This is not what I signed up for. And I can't imagine carrying on and doing that night after night after night. Which has never happened. I mean, that has happened to me twice. And they were both a little bit, they were kind of dodgy gigs,
Gotcha.
The situation, the whole situation was just bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For instance, I think Queensryche, was it Queensryche? Enough's Enough. No, King's X. I think King's X did an AC/DC tour. And I think on the entire tour of 3 months, so for the sake of argument, we'll say 50 gigs in North America, they got through 3 songs. They just booed off the stage.
Jeez.
You may have been I think it was the US festival where there's Johnny Ramone. And you can see it. We're on stage left looking across the stage. Johnny Ramone's put his guitar down. He's just so pissed off with the audience. He's just standing there and he's giving the finger. And there's 180,000 people out there. He's just fuck you. Because the audience is just to the Ramones. How can anyone, and whenever it was, 96 or whenever it was?
Still, yeah. I mean,
how could anyone in that audience have not known what the Ramones were like? That they're going to boo them. Lame.
It's really. The crowd. It's the crowd.
It's the crowd. Yeah.
Whatever the crowd's really there for, they don't want that.
Yeah.
They want what they want. I've been to shows like that. I went to a Korn show. This was a while ago. It was when Korn did some stuff with Ice Cube, and so when they went on tour, of course they brought Ice Cube with them, and Orgy was the opener. And this is Orgy. The only way people knew Orgy in the United States was from Blue Monday, which they did. That was a cover, But that's the only way people knew them. So when Orgy was the very first band to play, and everybody in the entire arena was just yelling "Korn, Korn, Korn," because over their music, it was so loud. I could. Of course, I was in the back. I never stand in the pit and have fun and stuff. I'm in the back, but that's. I couldn't even hear the band. I really could care less anyway. But and then Ice Cube gets up there, and they were a little bit more respectful with Ice Cube, but still, it was just Korn, Korn. Everybody was there for just Korn.
Yeah,
and I understand. I understand the whole Orgy thing because there was one song that was on the radio and it wasn't even theirs. It was a cover and it was a pretty good cover. I mean, I think they did a good job at it, but still, it wasn't their music just was not fit for that tour. I don't think. And then you got a rapper going on before a metal band too. That was weird, but
that's been happening more.
It's a pretty good show. Live rap to me is just, you know what I mean? Because there's no band. It's just a track playing.
I went to go see, I don't know if you're familiar, Polyphia and Intervals, and they had a rapper open for them. Yeah.
How did that go? How'd it go?
It was interesting. I don't know. It was a different sound. It was between both bands. And I mean, it kind of made sense because Polyphia has this more modern sound. They do some hip hop stuff and neo soul kind of stuff. So it kind of made sense. It's a transition into both of them. But yeah, hip hop is showing up more in live settings like that. Yeah. But yeah, I gotta head out, Jim. It was a pleasure meeting you. It was a pleasure getting to know your band.
Yeah, nice yakking with you.
And, yeah.
What's your band? If I go to Wikipedia and look for Bruno Lopez Vargas, am I gonna find you? Or
probably to Bloom.
Oh no, not on Wikipedia. But yeah, Two Bloom. No, Two Bloom doesn't have a Wikipedia yet. But
I'll link it up. Well, I sent you their profiles. Just link up on Instagram.
Yeah.
You got to check out To Bloom. I think you would really like them, Jim.
Okay.
Excellent. Alrighty, y'all. Take it easy.
Thanks, Bruno.
Good. Thanks.
I'll talk to you soon.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Well, what was your best experience on stage?
Yeah, that was what I was going to go to next.
Okay. Yeah. Cool.
So with the old band, Sons of Freedom, there's a big old ballroom here. It's called the Commodore Ballroom, and for the sake of argument, I'm going to say it's about 100 years old. Which for Vancouver, there wasn't much here. 130 years ago. I think there was a fire in 1890 or something, which pretty much nuked it. So it's, by North American standards, it's still a fairly young city. Anyway, back in the day, what made it happen was whatever the dance floor was, whatever kind of wooden tiling stuff, they put in, I think it was a shitload of, I think it might have been horsehair or old tires. So you would go and see a band, And, oh, it's pumping. But then you start to realize the entire dance floor is doing this. Right? So it's like automatic mosh pit. So everyone's like, and it was very exciting. It's a very unifying, and it's a good sounding room, blah, blah, blah. And we played there a few times. Bottom line is we had one gig where we played there with the headliner instead of opening for anybody. So, but I think we only headlined there maybe two or three times ever, maybe only twice. So anyway, we used to have a set where it goes along, and most of our songs were pretty punchy, and some of them are very punchy. But we had this one song called "The Criminal," which was the first video that we had that we put out on our first record in 1988. And for the sake of argument, I'm going to say this gig was about 1990. So maybe our second CD was out. I don't know. I can't remember. But the bottom line is this particular song, which, people were most familiar with, people like that music, was always towards the end of the set. So it's like you get to the saying, okay, the last three songs, ooh, yeah. And then everyone's like, oh. So anyway, for once we decided, why don't we put that song as the first song? We've got these three basses at the end where they belong. Yeah. We don't need to have four basses in a row because it's hard for a drummer to just be like,
really,
right, for like four in a row like that. So we put it at the very beginning, and it's got a very distinct. The very end of the song is like like this, the way the chords move, very hard, very, 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 very melodramatic, very dramatic. Anyway, we did that, and it was again hometown crowd. Everyone was pumped. Everything was amazing. Like everyone in the room was just like, oh. And we'd had people, yell at us and stuff. But this was like 1,000 people, and they're all going like, "Fuck it!" Like really, very positive response. And
were they moshing? Were they moshing also?
Yeah, there was a lot of in those days. It was kind of like the late days of stage diving.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And we had to talk to the people that were there because it was like.
Did you ever do that? Did you ever just take off running and jump into the crowd?
No, I've never done it.
Would you ever, like, even now?
No, I'm a coward. There's no way.
I don't think I would do that either. Nobody's gonna catch me. Nobody cares.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah. Oh, you fat bastards! Hell no. Look at the old fucker.
I mean, I see these videos all the time. That I don't have cable or anything anymore. I got rid of that about 10 years ago, and I just watch YouTube and stuff. But I'll see these videos of people just running and just diving jumping off the stage. There's nobody there to catch them. They just splat right on. That's gotta hurt. I mean, but they just get right back up and they do it again, which is like what's I don't like mosh pits. I don't like being that close to people.
Yeah,
for a long period of time.
I guess the mosh pit isn't the thing that
scares me. I just get scared about slam dancing. Which I don't think people do so much anymore, but it was kind of like an open season where people kind of grabbing everybody, and it's a kind of joke to kind of keep standing up. It's like, well, I'm not always in a clear fit, maybe I've had a few drinks, maybe spinning me sideways.
Yeah, it's not a good idea.
It's not a good idea right now,
Well, I mean, you see this. I mean, I go to a lot of metal shows, and there one I won't say the band or anything, just don't need to, but and a lot of these shows I go to, they'll be like, all right, open up the pit. And then that's when I move out of the way. I know it's good. And then some of them do the wall of death, which it's fun to watch people just beat the crap out of each other. For those of you that don't know what the wall of death is, they split the room and there's people on one side, people on the other side, and they just say go, or there's a trigger of some sort in their music, and they just run at each other. It's the dumbest thing ever to watch from outside, outside of it happening. It's just dumb. But people love it,
But they're not actually fighting, are they? Isn't it kind
of? No, they just take off running to each other, and then they just shove and stuff, and everybody has a great time.
Yeah,
it's weird.
Kind of like what was the football? The toad jumping with the titties.
What?
Well, the toad. I don't know. That's what I call it. The football thing when the two guys do well in American football, NFL.
Oh.
Two guys and they just like,
I don't have TV anymore, so I don't. If it's a commercial, I don't know.
Maybe ancient. I always called it the toad jump because they look like toads when they fight.
It could have been toads. I don't know. Yeah. What do you say we listen to the newest one that you guys just released?
Yeah.
This one. I always tell my dad, who's going to be on my show because he usually watches. He likes to watch, and I said, I have a really good band on tonight. They just put out a new single. It's called "Kill God Now." Well, my dad's my parents are pretty decent Christians. They go to church and stuff. And I was like, I don't know if it's really about that, but we'll find out on the show. So I guess this is the point of the show where we find out what the song's about. Because it could be just about anything.
Yeah,
maybe it could be about a Greek god. We don't know.
No, it is about killing God. It's basically the argument in the especially when you look at the video, it's pretty painfully obvious. Again,
I did watch the video. Yes,
Fiona Bowie did that as well. The argument lyrically for the song is kill all gods, kill them all now. You can have faith. Like there's some faiths out there that they're kind of beautifully benign. Like there's one. It's kind of like an extreme version of Hinduism. I think they're called the Jains.
Yeah, I've heard of that. Yeah.
Like they have to carry a brush with them in case there's bugs on a chair. Because
What?
they do. They have to have
Really?
a brush. The monks, and they don't wear clothes. They're always naked, and they have to be fed, and there's something about they don't use cutlery, so they can only use their fingers. That they won't use. I think maybe you prepare food on a leaf or something, and water. They can. It's like all this stuff to try and create as little impact.
Convenience.
On
Or
anything.
convenience. Yeah.
Well, they're obviously completely.
It's like Amish people, no electricity, all that stuff,
Well, it's quite a bit more extreme.
Right. Well, yeah, but just kind of along those, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah. And there's also, there's another one that's I'm a little familiar with because we have a friend that's one Baha'i. For instance, one of their things is the children, they're not allowed to pick. They can't decide what their religion is going to be until they're like 12 or 13. So I guess kind of like with the Jewish people, they have the bar mitzvah when they're just like, I am now a Jew, blah, blah, blah. Everyone I understand my role in society. These guys aren't allowed to make a choice. It's banned. They may not. I think they can go to whatever social stuff that Baha'i people do. And honestly, I know almost nothing about it. But they're very non-judgmental from what I've seen. And they're not about to start a fight with each other. But, I got no problem with faith. But just recently, just the way, well, I shouldn't say recently, just pretty much from the beginning of time, almost everyone who has been doing something, you find a bunch of people that are facing something, and there's some asshole there who's going like, how can I exploit these stupid bastards?
Joel Osteen.
I need more people. So I'm going to pretend that I agree with them, and I'm going to provoke them, and we're going to twist the rules. Oh, great, they got a book. Good. I'll read the book and find out things in here I can use to my advantage. Like, for instance, the whole thing about gay marriage, like Leviticus. Have you ever? Your parents are religious. Have you read Leviticus? Have you read it?
Not thoroughly, no. Mm-mm.
There's stuff in there that will turn your stomach. Like, it's like, yes, it does say a man should not sleep with a man as he would a woman. There's also stuff in there about, when you fuck a goat and your penis has pus, don't fuck the wife. I mean, it's in there. It's just like,
jeez, I didn't know that.
About? Like, what the fuck? Like, it's full of that. That book, it's like I guess it's supposed to be like a manual for good behavior, but it's really just like, this mindset is warped, and I think it says right in there, don't eat pork. One of the things that it says.
I got into I do electronic music. That's where Acute Mania came from. My electronic music, that's what I call it. And so I just put live at the end and made a podcast back in 2020. But I put an EP out recently that I called "Delaying the Inevitable," and it's got Alan Watts quotes in it. He's actually saying quotes throughout the song because I never knew who Alan Watts was before I made this album. I just wanted saying something in these songs, and I wanted to kind of tell the story.
I don't know who that is. Who
really?
Is
he's a philosopher. He's deceased now, but he was a Buddhist, but he's just a philosopher. If you just look up Alan Watts, Watts, and it's very interesting. Some of it's motivational, even, some of it's just basically his thoughts on things. And it was very interesting. So I made the entire EP like that. And check it out if you want to. It's just Acute Mania. It's Delaying the Inevitable. It's out. But it's very interesting stuff. And I never really, I grew up as a United Methodist, just like my parents, just grew up in church and never really, not that I doubted anything, but just never really thought about anything else. What do other people think? And the way I viewed it with Alan Watts was, he's just he's not saying there is no God, but he's saying there is no God, if that makes any sense. You know what I mean? But he's explaining why he thinks that, you know, and he's not putting anybody down that does believe in God. He's just saying this is why he thinks that, you know, and that's what became very interesting to me. And you know, so I listened to a lot more of it, and just it's not that I believe it. I don't, you know, what do you believe? I mean, what? But that's a tough conversation. You know, it's a tough conversation.
It is tough, and it's the kind of thing where I know I'm not going to make many friends doing it, but as far as I'm concerned, it's just like the way that most people, or it seems that most of the people on this planet, when they talk about a God, a lot of times it's a convenient way for them to get other people to do stuff what they think is right.
Right.
And for the sake of argument, you know,
and then they have a war.
Jewish people, you know, I'm talking massive generalizations here, but for the most part, Jewish people with their faith, they just want to be left alone. I don't want to work Saturdays. That's my special day, or Friday, whatever. Okay, don't. I don't want to eat pork. Okay, don't. Whatever. But all of a sudden, you've got like this hardcore Christian thing where it's like, we'll kill you if you're gay, and Muslims saying this kind of thing, we'll kill you if you drink or do drugs. It's like, what does this have to do with you? This is none of your business what I'm doing.
And you know, I think it was George Carlin that said, you know, pretty much every single war that's happened in the history of man has been something to do with religion. You know,
superficially, yes, I would say that, but
or the majority, maybe.
Well, religion is almost always involved, because that's the great way for the bad guys to get stupid people and people who have faith involved. It was like, you know, like I've always thought that crusades were interesting. So, you know, in the 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th century kind of thing, it was nuts. Everyone decided we have to liberate Jerusalem. Well, as it turns out, it didn't really need to be liberated. Yes, it was controlled by Muslims, but Christians could go there. It was just this big power play. And there'd already been this massive power play between Rome and Constantinople, which is Istanbul now, about the new and old Rome. Like the Roman Empire had fallen apart. The Christian church, like conveniently, now it's in Rome. And then it had to go because the Visigoths came in and busted that up. So all of a sudden, it's like, it's not really about anything but the Pope. In those days, he was meddling in international politics constantly. He would be talking to different countries like, that guy can't be your new king. No, you got to get the other guy. It's like, the hell you're the guy that's talking to God, ain't you? What the hell does this have to do with you? Absolutely nothing. And it's happened a lot. Like there was a very interesting, very sad documentary series of shows. I think it was 3 of them, and it was basically all talking about Northern Ireland, and it's all about like, oh, the Catholics and the Protestants killing each other. And part of me is like, you know, I'm not from there, but when I lived there, you know, there's bombs going off. I was in England when the IRA were coming into England, planting bombs in pubs in England. And they actually killed the Queen's uncle, Earl Mountbatten, I think his name was. They put a bomb on his boat and killed him. It was a really big deal. You know, because it's essentially, it is, you know, they're a terrorist organization. Again, they're trying to get a full-blown civil war. But everyone said the whole time, and a lot of the people in Northern Ireland were saying the whole time, it's Catholics versus Protestants. That isn't actually what it was. It was the people, the Unionists, or whatever it's called, the Unionists and the Nationalists or whatever, but the people who wanted to be part of England. Northern Ireland is part of the United Kingdom.
Right.
Ireland, which is the part of the island that isn't Northern Ireland, that is essentially a separate country. So Ireland is still in the EU. They still use euros. They still have the trade and the work permit stuff working fine. Whereas in Northern Ireland, that's part of England. Or the part of United Kingdom, they had Brexit. So
are you from there originally, that area? I'm
actually about 8th generation Canadian, but I was born in France, and then my father transferred to the Royal Air Force in Britain. So I basically lived in Britain until I was 20.
That's why your accent's
yeah, exactly. I've got a little bit of an accent, but what I've noticed is that from different people that I've met, by the time, you know, in your native tongue, I guess really is what I'm saying, by the time you get to 20, if you talk a certain way, you're going to talk like the rest of your life. I didn't try to lose it, but I didn't try to keep it, you know, because I don't care.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I have a really good friend. We've not met in person, but he's been on it as a guest several times, and he's been a guest co-host several times. Tom, he lives in London, is in Bromley actually, and he was just on the other night actually, or the other day. But whenever I do European bands, where the time zones are funky, I always try to get him on because he's up. So. Well, let's take a listen to the song. This is the newest Rat Salad song. Okay. It's out now. You can grab it. It's called "Kill God Now." Why did you choose to fade that? That kind of makes me mad.
Well, yeah.
Is it one of those that's on and on? It could go on and on and on.
Well, yeah. Well, I used a lot of repetition.
Yeah.
And for the sake of argument, really, I think artistically the whole point was like, how many times do I have to say "kill God now" for you to get the message?
To get the point across.
And then once more, in case you weren't listening, I don't need to say this 8 times in a row. And it's a strange song. The break is strange. It's a very, very slow burn. And friend Fiona Bowie, who made the video, she kind of took the cue from it. So when you watch the video, it's kind of like, it's a slideshow stuff. And then as things start to get a little bit crazy, there's more video. And all of a sudden, she's got a whole bunch of footage of one of these I mean, he must be American, but it looks like it's on an American stage. The Faith Healers, when it's like, and then she falls over, and then bring her back up, and like all this, it's WWE as far as I'm concerned. It's stage. I think it's hideous.
I think it's an excellent. I think it's an excellent take to your track. Because it's just there's a lot of stuff happening. I'm hearing a lot. I've heard it on a speaker, but when you hear it on these things, it's different. You hear everything, and I'm just hearing all this stuff, and it's not chaos.
Yeah.
Maybe to some people that don't know what they're hearing. But it's not. It's chaotic, yes, but in a very juicy way, and I like it. I want to I kind of want to juice it up again,
Yeah.
It's very good. I like. I mean, I think it's a great vibe, especially for that message. It doesn't come across as happy or sad. It's kind of a neutral feeling song. That makes sense.
Well, I like to think that the chorus has a strong enough punch that when I say kill God now, it's not like I'm saying we should really get another tub of ice cream. I'm just like, string that fucker up, and I'm not kidding now.
Yeah.
It's that's the kind of thing. But the whole thing about when to bring in that fade and how fast it should be and all that kind of stuff, it's been a point of contention the whole time.
Yeah.
And I do get talked into changing my mind from time to time. But now that the song's finished and everything, and now that because I'm it's not like I'm getting hate mail saying like, oh man,
I thought about it, but then I was like, he's gonna be on the show, I better not do that, and I'll wait till afterwards.
Well, it's one of those things. Now I kind of look at it, it's like, well, it is good if people are talking about it. That is a good thing, right? It's always good if people pay attention to what you're doing. But now I'm starting to think like, maybe that was a mistake. Maybe we could have gone on for another 10 seconds and it wouldn't have pissed everybody off. But the whole point of having that fast fade like that, it was basically, I'm just saying, fuck you even to the listener.
It is a fast fade. Yeah, I just now realized that. It is a little bit faster.
It's incredibly fast. Basically, we get through whatever it is. I think it's 4 bars is the whole thing. And the whole point was basically almost as soon as it killed God, okay, that's where the fade starts.
Yeah.
And then we found out when we were talking to my friends in the studio and stuff, they talk about the English fade and the American fade. An American fade, like say it's the hit song and it's going out on the chorus and, it'll take maybe 2.5 bars. The English one is like, you could start cooking the pancakes. You can get the other side of pancakes.
We're done, yeah.
At the end. There's suck at the, like I say, Pink Floyd one. It's like, Jesus Christ. 7 choruses we have to play in the studio to get the fade right. Like, come on.
Do you do a live fade when you're playing it live, or have you played it live yet?
No, we can't do fades live. No.
Is it? It could be possible. Could bands do that? I've never seen it, but like, I think it could be possible. I've tried to do it in practice, and like, it doesn't catch on with the other guys.
No. Well, I mean, you'd have to control it on stage because you can't trust the sound man to just do it.
Yeah.
You've got the stage volume.
He's asleep at that point. Yeah.
Well, it's hard it depends what kind of music it is, I guess.
Yeah.
If you're a Kraftwerk kind of band, I guess it's piss easy. Everyone just like turns the knob down on the synth, right? And then nobody hears anything. But no, I don't know that it exists.
I've never seen it. Yeah, I think it could be brought in. I think you guys could do that. Once you guys start that, and everybody else will follow you. I don't want to. Too much work. Too much work. I've already wrote the song. I'm done. Done with it.
No, I think when we do it live, we're just going to have to play the chorus twice. That's all.
I
So it'll be a little bit.
I usually do a segment where I call it off stage. I put it in the email that I sent with the link and stuff. But I think I'm going to change that a little bit. But we're having such a great conversation. I don't want to kill the conversation we're having. So I think I'll still do it. I'll still ask you these questions, but you don't like. I make other people answer them. But I want to ask you like the music ones because I have really raunchy ones that I usually ask people. But I mean, we can do a couple if you want. I mean, that's up to you. But I think you'd be okay with. I kind of gauge. This is why I do it at the end of the show because I have to gauge the guests to see if they'll be okay with some of these raunchy ones. Because they're
okay,
downright raunchy. But I've been doing this since the beginning of the year, and it's going really well. and it's turned into more of would you rather questions. Like, would you rather do this or this? But you have to pick one.
Yeah. Okay.
So, for some of these, we won't make it mandatory that you have to answer. But if you'd rather just talk about the question, we can do that,
Okay.
That makes sense. But I'm going to start with one that's not a would you rather. I did this with Tom, my friend in London. He was on as a guest last week, and so I kind of did a different approach with him as well. So this one, some of these are a little bit more not so like just funny. They're more like serious questions, I guess. So we'll say. So you're from Great Britain, but you've been in Vancouver for quite a while. So we can call that your hometown, right?
Yeah.
Just for this question, okay. How has your hometown influenced your music or creative process?
I would say quite a lot. I would say probably the biggest influence is just because I've been listening to music for so long. But there's always been a lot happening music wise here and art wise in Vancouver. And I've kind of made a point to try different art things. I took a stab at acting. I took a stab at dancing, like modern dance. And
can you do a jig for us real quick?
What's that?
Can you dance a jig?
No, I can't dance at all. No.
Is that why you didn't?
Modern dance is it's kind of like yoga, but you move around.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, if you
it's
can.
It's not ballet, right? I'm being facetious when I say that. But yeah, I would say that for sure Vancouver's influenced it. But I mean, there's an awful lot of negative things here. Like, I don't know what it's like in your city, but we've had a vicious problem with heroin in Vancouver since about like 1910 because of support. We've had a vicious problem with fentanyl long before any other cities in Canada had it. And before that, it was OxyContin. And before that, it was something else. I forget what it was. But I don't want to say, because the railway line ends here, sometimes Vancouver got the kind of nickname, and I imagine, pretty much San Francisco would probably be called it, but they used to call places like this Terminal City. This is where the big train station was at the end of the line. Well, people used to say that about Vancouver, and then after a while, it's like, well, it's not funny anymore because people are clearly coming here to die. And a lot of people are dying here, and a lot of people were coming here because they didn't know what else to do. You can imagine if you're a dodgy kind of lifestyle person, maybe you got some small amount of money from the government. Well, why would I live in Calgary where it's incredibly cold in the winter and it's not much fun in the summer? But if you come to Vancouver, it's not like San Francisco or Hawaii, but you can spend the night on the streets in the winter, and for the most part, you're going to survive. Where the cities in Canada, that's not true. Like Edmonton,
Edmonton, yeah. I've been to Edmonton in the wintertime. It's cold.
It's bad. Yeah.
It's really cold.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, okay. This one kind of ties in with the hometown thing. If Vancouver had a theme song, what would it be? And it can be anything. It can be a famous song if you want to. It could be one of your songs. But if it had a theme song, if aliens came to the Earth and said, "What's Vancouver's theme song?" What would you give them?
I really don't know. There was.
Is it Canada?
We're talking about drugs so much. I think it was the Forgotten Rebels, but I'm not sure. But you might know this song. It's fairly famous in Canada in the late 80s. I'm surfing on heroin.
I never heard that one. No.
I'm surfing on heroin. I'm surfing. It's like a 12-bar punk.
So that would be the theme song for Vancouver.
Potentially, the mayor wouldn't like it at all.
No. I just had actually your label mates, Circle the City, were on last week from Vancouver area. I guess it's more Vancouver area for them. Very good band.
Sorry, who?
Circle the City. They're also a Sode band. And let's see, I've had the Haptics from Vancouver also.
Yeah, I know the Haptics. Yeah,
Haptics are also label mates. Yeah, so I've had a lot of great bands from Sode.
Yeah,
a lot of great talent. Okay, would you rather have a tiny high pitched voice or just be completely hairless?
Sorry, have a what voice?
Like a tiny high pitched voice, like Mickey Mouse or something, or would you just rather be completely hairless?
Like a mouse, like talk like a mouse.
Yeah. Would you rather have that? Yeah. Would you rather
like
have that
Mickey Mouse
all the time? Yeah, you got to talk like that all the time, or would you just be completely hairless all the time?
I would probably have to go with no hair. I mean, I don't have much now, so it's not.
You're on your way. You're well on your way.
Yeah. Well, I'm a singer of a band, right? And there's a pretty popular meme where it's just a picture of a guy standing there in front of some speakers, and the caption underneath is the first time a singer hears himself in the studio, and the guy properly, right? And there's the speakers, and he's just like puking his guts out. Which,
that's
it's
about
pretty
right.
common. It's just the first time. And I was just reading a thing recently. Donald Fagen, I think his name is, from Steely Dan.
Okay.
Donald Fagen, the singer, right?
I know Steely Dan, but yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, that dude apparently, I'm not crazy about his voice, but he hates it. He always hated his voice, but he's decided that I just have to use it, and I got to suck it up and figure it out,
and just not listen to yourself. Really,
yeah, it's not easy. There's some people out there that have amazing voices, but as far as I'm concerned, they're awful singers.
I cringe when I hear my voice. Like we have one song out. Well, we have 2 songs out, but we have one that's available everywhere, and I cringe when I listen to it. It wasn't good. It could be better. But it's out already. The performance
wasn't good.
Yeah, it's just it could have been better, and it's not, and it's out there already. So I mean, I guess we could re-record it, but whatever. But it's I got over it. Yeah, I got over it.
That is different.
Yeah.
Like for instance,
it's different to hear yourself on either cans or a speaker. It's just different hearing yourself like that,
Yeah. Well, the key thing is, if as a musician, you have to find out the best way to get something musical out of your instrument, and in this case, your instrument is your voice.
Right.
It's going to sound really catty what I'm about to talk about, but
it's fine.
I'm assuming you both know both of these people. Celine Dion.
I'm aware. Yes, that was my very first concert.
Oh, really? Okay. Very straight. She did the theme music for
Titanic.
And Katie Lang. Do you know Katie Lang?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she was enormous for a little while in the late 90s.
Yeah.
Anyway, I saw a film recently. It's a film called The Color of Ink. And I guess Katie Lang had wanted to, she was quitting smoking. So as a way to work through it, she did all these songs. And for the sake of the argument, I'm going to say, the name of the record was Burning or something, but that's actually a Bob Marley and the Wailers album. But let's say it was called Burning. But all the songs was something about smoking or something. So maybe there's a song called, I'm on fire. And the next one is like, put that butt out. But the bottom line is she covers a song from the Hollies, which you may not know, but it was a massive song in Britain in the 60s, I think, late 60s. The Air That I Breathe.
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard that one.
It is the air that I breathe, right?
You should cover that song.
That's it. I'd never heard that song before until
we were in
the movie theater, and we're watching. And this film is very interesting. It's like this guy makes artisan ink, and he's got a good photographer there. It's a documentary, but you're seeing these different like inks that are made from like busted up rusty refrigerators and crap like that.
What movie is it?
Moving around on this surface on a screen that's like 30, 40 foot wide, like a real big 35
like IMAX kind of deal. Yeah.
Yeah, it was beautiful. Anyway, this song comes in, and I just about fucking lose it. But because I was amazed that I didn't know her version of this song, and it's so restrained, it's so beautiful. The vibrato comes in, the strength, it just cruises along. She's just like, it's perfection as a vocal performance. It's absolutely brilliant. And then I compare it to Celine Dion, which is like, yes, good voice, excellent vibrato, absolutely no taste at all. It's just like
bland.
Listen to me showing you how awesome I can sing.
Like Whitney Houston almost.
Well, like another one that makes me cringe all the time is every single time I see, from America, typically, the stereotypical, R&B singer woman.
We apologize for that.
What's that?
We apologize for that.
No, well, it's just, you can do whatever you want. I mean, it's your country. But they'll sing the national anthem, and it's like,
people destroy our national anthem when they
they're
sing.
just showing off.
Awful.
And none of that means that you're a good singer at all, as far as I'm concerned. It's just like, yes, you're taking a bunch of lessons, and yes, you're copying them. You're doing this idiotic thing. It's like, you're not going to make anyone cry or anyone think about
maybe from pain.
But the flag wavers, they love it because they think it's signaling that we are technically more capable than anyone else. That's not what art's all about, man.
No. All right, I give everybody this question.
Okay.
I gave everybody gets this, whether they're into raunchy stuff or not. Well, I haven't come across that yet, where I've had to like really pull it back. But everybody gets this question, and it leans toward one side. There's a majority answer to this, but there are some people that pick the other. So I'm always curious to learn. And this question has gone on for 20 minutes before with a band. Just saying, well, what about this? What about that? So this is just the question, and some of these questions came from AI. And I've had to doctor them up a little bit, but this one didn't. This one came from a previous guest, and it's a very good question, and it's been on every show since. Would you rather have dicks for fingers or never be able to taste anything ever again?
Dicks for fingers. Well, I need my fingers. I don't think the idea of playing a guitar with a semi-hard on or piano, and I don't think if you've got penises for fingers, you can hold drumsticks very well. So there's a whole bunch of there's a lot of technical considerations there. And what was the other one? Not being able to taste?
Yeah, just not be able to taste anything ever again.
Yeah. No, I like food pretty good.
Yeah. So you're going with the dicks?
Well, I mean, more penises, I'm sure, would be an awful lot of fun. Like, there's a
for somebody, right?
Well, in the back in the day, I used to go around, I'm sure you guys have them at the Goodwill stores, right?
Yeah, we got them.
But here we don't have Goodwill, but we have the Salvation Army. It's the same kind of thing.
We got that too. Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyway, they do their community stuff, and homeless people can get food and a place to stay. But they raise some of the way they raise money is they sell secondhand stuff. Like the clothes you don't want, or a chair or books. But anyway, back in the day, I used to troll these places like that because that's where I got most of my clothes. Right. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't buy underwear or socks, but pretty much everything else I would get from there because
I found some good stuff there, really.
Well, I was trying to live as poor as I could because I was basically like, fuck capitalism. I want to live as poor as I can. I want to earn essentially as little as I can. Mm-hmm. Because I don't need any more. This leaves me all the free time, and I was doing music. So it's not like I really had much choice. I've got my crummy job as a waiter or a busboy, whatever it was that I was doing at the time. Anyway, I wound up getting 2 different books about animal sex. And
interesting.
Yeah, which is odd, right? And I stumbled across both of them, not at the same store. I got one, and maybe 6 weeks later, I was like, another fucking book about animal sex? I think one of them was actually called
Part 2.
How Do They Do It? How do they do it? One of them was about a wasp. The way that the female wasp gets pregnant is there's something about the male wasp's penis. He drills into her abdomen. What? He makes a hole, and then he puts his spunk in like that.
Wow.
Another one is, I think most pigs, they have like a corkscrew penis when they get a hard on.
Like their tails?
It goes in, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't want to come out.
It gets stuck in there. Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah. And the other one is that maybe you know about this already, but I thought it was fascinating. With cats, the reason why they make so much noise is, I think this is what it is. Most mammals, when they're in heat, like the egg is up in the ovary, but it comes down into the ovum or the uterus. Anyway, wherever the egg sits when it's waiting for the sperm.
Yeah.
Cats aren't like that. It's not there. But the cat goes in heat, the female. So she's just like, do me. Come on, get on it.
Let's go.
So the male goes in, but he's got a barbed penis. So he's thrusting. Oops.
What?
This. My computer's doing something stupid.
It's thrusting. Calm it down.
He's thrusting. Can you hear a stupid noise?
No, I can't.
No. Okay.
I believe you
though. He's thrusting, but I'm guessing on the back pull, these barbs are getting the inside of the female cat's vagina, and it hurts. So the female is just like, oh, fuck, God, I fucking hate that. But that pain triggers the egg to leave the ovaries and come down. So the sperm goes up into the uterus, hangs out, and then the egg comes down and meets it. Whereas I think with all other mammals, it's sitting around there in the parking lot.
You know what that it kind of brings us back to what kind of a god would create that? Yeah.
But the one talking about multiple penises, there's lizards out there that have multiple penises. Wow. So can you imagine it's Saturday night with the wife and you're just down there looking like, well, which one's it going to be?
We'll do the Saturday night one, I guess. You have them all labeled.
The one with the red hat? You like that one, don't you?
Well, what is it? Isn't there a bee that dies as soon as they mate or something? Or
it
stings. It's when they sting, they die.
No, I think there's several animals that happened.
Well, I know the like cicadas, they die as soon as they breed too.
Okay. Well, I think the one joke is the praying mantis. They have this beautiful, beautiful dance. They have sex, and then the woman always bites the male's head off. I don't know why.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. That's right. What kind of a god,
Yeah.
we could
Well,
say this for every
so
single
far, most of the terrible things that have happened on this planet are really they're because we did them.
A good question. I've never asked anybody this, and this you might be able to. Well, maybe just your thoughts, because I don't know. Nobody knows who the right answer is or what the right answer is to this. But why do bad things happen to good people?
Yeah,
why does somebody good die? Like Ozzy died yesterday. It was this time. I think everybody can agree to that. But he was a good person for the most part. He was good for music, and But what do you think the answer to that question would be?
I don't think there is an answer.
I
thought about that a lot because my parents, they were smart in a lot of ways. They were both poor, but they managed to basically get out of South Manitoba where nothing was going on. And this is in the early days after the Second World War. So NATO was a big deal. They're like, oh, the Red Menace, ooh. So they're putting up military bases, America, England, and Canada. I think there were the three main countries. And a lot of other Commonwealth countries also sending an absolute shitload of setting up military bases, kind of like the way the States has now all over the Middle East. But in those days, it was in Europe because they didn't know what the hell Russia was up to. They were terrified that something terrible was going to happen. So they were getting super proactive on that. So anyway, my parents, all of a sudden, they're in Europe. They got disposable income. This is 15 years after the Second World War. The economy of France and England is still way in the toilet. They got tons of disposable money. They went everywhere. They had all kinds of fun, and they did that all their lives. My dad barely made it to retirement. He got ALS. I think it's called amphitryomic lateral sclerosis. Bottom line is, once it gets diagnosed with someone that age, you got about 2 years, but you slowly become more and more and more paralyzed. Your brain is fine, and his brain was fine. So that was awful. I think he was gone by the time he was like 68 or something. And then, so my mother had a few years. She was 1 year younger than him. And then she started to develop dementia. And, these were two people it's not like they housed homeless children or took care of, abandoned dogs or anything, but they didn't do it. They weren't vicious people by any means. So the idea of why do bad things happen to good people and stuff? It's a tough one because, we can sit around and spitefully wish the worst on our worst enemies and the world leaders that we hate. But it's like, I don't believe in hell. I would almost start believing in God if I thought there was a hell. So that person would, the classic insult is there's a special place in hell for that asshole.
Yeah, it's called hell.
Like Kissinger. Better be, if there's a hell, that guy better be suffering and suffering and suffering,
Yeah. I have a buddy of mine sent me a meme with Ozzy and Jesus in the same picture.
Yeah.
And on Ozzy's shirt, it said, "What the fuck am I doing here?"
Yeah. I saw that one too. There was one cute meme floating around. It wasn't really kind of like a gag like that, but it was basically kind of summarizing about what the hell, where his head was at. And I guess he's had Parkinson's, borderline bedbound for a couple of years. No one's
he was bad. Yeah.
Anyway,
he lived a good life though. He did.
Yeah.
A lot of influence.
And he lost several friends, right? Like a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
Like in the world of drugs, who'd have thought it that Iggy was the only one left out of the Stooges, right? And with New York Dolls, who would have thunk it? David Johansen, last man standing. What? Like nobody would have expected that, right? It's really quite strange.
What kind of a God would allow that to happen?
What's that?
What kind of a God would allow that to happen?
Well, it's because the singer didn't want it to happen, right? They were careful enough, just reckless enough. But anyway, this little meme thing, this tribute, whatever the hell it was basically saying he went off his meds something like about 4 days early because he wanted to be lucid. He wanted to be able to do the gig properly and have his shit together for it. And I didn't bother looking at the footage, but I had a pretty good idea what's going on because I saw the pictures of it. It's like he's really in a wheelchair and they just dressed it up as a throne, which is okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, that is that's pretty much the way to go.
Yeah.
I think he got a little help at the end, but I think the same thing happened with Lemmy. with Motorhead, because it was kind of like, oh, Lemmy has terminal thing of the thing, and he says to his fans the thing, and then 2 days later he's dead. It's like, well, that sure didn't take very long.
Yeah. It's a tough question. There's no answer to it. It's just there's other questions that I have that I usually end with, but other than the Dick's question, but there are more serious ones that I'll ask, about memories and things. But I figured that would be a good one because I've never asked it.
So the multiple dick question, like that's the one everyone talked about that
Everybody
for like
picks
half an
dicks.
hour.
Everybody's answer is dicks. Every just about 95% of the answers I get.
They would take 5 dicks, or I guess 10 dicks.
10, yeah. Mm-hmm.
They would have 10 penises, but they wouldn't be able to taste anything.
Well, they would still be able to taste because they're choosing the dicks, because it's either or. So like you're either choosing dick fingers or not having dick fingers and just having regular fingers and not being able to taste anything. So the majority of people are answering they'd rather have the dick fingers because they want to be able to taste.
Oh, okay. I got it backwards.
Yeah. Backwards dicks. Right?
Yeah, I'm pretty keen on eating.
Yeah. So yeah, you're going to pick the dicks, and I think it's the obvious choice, really. Yeah.
Well, fuck. Well, I guess I'd get them cut off. But
you can do whatever you want. Yeah, you can make them transgender dicks if you want. Flappers. I don't know.
What am I going to do with 10 penises? Come on.
What are you not going to do with 10 penises? That's the question. What kind of a god? Okay. Well, I want to thank you, Jim, for coming on the show. It's been a pleasure talking to you. Please come back, and if you can, bring some of the other guys with you next time.
Sure.
Love to chat with them. I have one more show coming up on Sunday. This year I'm celebrating 5 years of this podcast.
That's good.
Crazy. I can't believe it's been already 5 years. But you're episode 351, so I just did the 350 the other day with a band in Germany, Lost Sanity. We're doing a live concert. If you want to fly over here to the East Coast, you can come to the show on Sunday, August 2nd. This is the poster. It's 5 year. It's a free show featuring all these bands. There's a few bands from Pittsburgh on there. There's my buddy Dale. He was the very first guest on the show on July 27th, 2020. He's coming up from Nashville to play, and then my band is Deviant Cause. We're going to be playing also. So if you're around the Clarksburg, West Virginia area, even if you're not, fly here and come. It's a free show. 7 bands, and a celebration of sorts, and we'll be having a lot of fun with that. But on Sunday is the actual anniversary of the show, July 27th. For the second time ever, I'm going to have 2 bands on at once, and I call it the 2-band banger. And the first time it was my friends Maintenance from New York, and for lack of a term, and they knew each other, and I just that's the reason I did it that time. And it was a good show. We had a lot of fun. This time, the bands don't know each other at all. They're from 2 completely different states. They're Public Figures from Omaha, Nebraska, and Arcwave is from Fort Collins, Colorado, and they've both been on the show before, and they're young guys. They're doing really, really well, especially since they've been on. I don't know if the show influenced them at all, but I like to think it did a little bit, But they're doing the damn thing, They're doing what it takes to get them to whatever their next level is, And I'm not taking away from any other guests I've had on, but I think these guys will mesh. They need to get together and tour or something. They're really, really, really good music, and their music's kind of different. It's not the same either. So we'll have them on at once on Sunday. The 2-band banger will be the second time we've done that, and it'll be the 5-year anniversary show also. So be a fun show. Tune in if you can. That'll be at 8 o'clock.
But to be clear, this is just this isn't like a game show thing where it's like
no, it's just a chat.
The singer of the other band.
Just a chat, just like we're doing now, and maybe they can offer people viewing, how they do it or how they're approaching things in the music business. It's tough. Yeah, but they're doing they're playing big Public Figures playing big shows. They're playing big festivals. They're really, really doing what they want to do, and Arcwave is they're playing shows and starting to write some more, and it's awesome to see that, So we'll talk to them on Sunday at 8 p.m.
That's cool.
So yeah, that's all I have, and then I'm going to take a little break because then we have the thing coming up on August 2nd, the big live concert, and take a little break after that, and kind of breathe for a minute, and then back to work.
Cool.
It's not work for me though. When it becomes work, it's no fun.
Yes.
But sometimes it is. Sometimes it is. You have to You have to do things, but you know, we got the event together. We got all these bands together. We got a great sound guy because the venue doesn't have any sound, so I needed to. So this guy's bringing all of these lights and stuff, and it's gonna be a lot of fun, and it's free. Can't ask for anything better than that. What kind of a god would make a free concert? Well, you know, don't kill that one because we need that one.
All right.
Playing us out of the show is a band I had on probably 6 months ago. I'm thinking something like that. They're called Flanger. They're out of Germany. They're out of Germany, but they're all from different places. I think one's from the UK and one's from, but they all live in Germany now, and they're starting. I actually talked to them today when I tagged them, and they're writing new things and getting ready to release some more things. So I figured I'd play them. The song's called Levitate. And if you have like 5 minutes, Jim, once I kill the live stream, I'll give you a formal goodbye as soon as I shut down here. Is that cool? Or do you have to go?
Yeah, no, it's fine. I'll hang out here and wait.
Okay.
So we will go off the air, but you and I will still be yakking.
Yeah, we'll still be on here. Yeah. Sure. I'll just give you a goodbye.
Okay.
Thank you all for watching and chatting. Hit subscribe if you haven't. Go to Rat Silo's YouTube and subscribe to them and watch their videos because they're very good videos, actually. Check them out. Here's Flanger with Levitate, and I will see everybody on Sunday with Arcwave and Public Figure at 8 p.m. Have a good night.
Voices of the unforgiven, silhouettes of the things you used to do.